Throughout history, the Stoics have been revered for their wisdom, their understanding of the human condition, and their mastery over their own emotions. But what many don't realize is that these philosophers also had a deep understanding of human relationships, particularly the intricate dynamics between men and women. The Stoics knew that to truly connect with another person, one must not only be attuned to their own mind and body, but also to the subtle cues and needs of their partner. In the realm of intimacy, this means understanding the complexities of female pleasure, a knowledge that, even today, only a small percentage of men truly grasp. In this video, we're going to delve into the secrets that only 1% of men know about women's pleasure. These are insights grounded not only in psychology, but also in ancient wisdom. By mastering these principles, you'll be able to deepen your connection with your partner, ensuring that your intimate moments are not just physically satisfying, but also emotionally and spiritually fulfilling. So, watch this video till the end, and if you find it valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share your own experiences. Let's explore together how you can elevate your understanding of female pleasure to a level that few men ever reach. Chapter 1. Take your time. One of the most profound lessons imparted by the Stoics is the value of patience, a virtue that extends far beyond the realms of philosophy and into every facet of life, including the most intimate aspects of human connection. The Stoics understood that the best things in life are often those that are carefully nurtured, developed over time, and approached with a sense of deliberation and mindfulness. In the context of intimacy, this wisdom is particularly relevant. Women's pleasure is not something to be hurried or treated as a mere goal to be achieved. It is an experience that requires time, attention, and a deep understanding of her body, mind, and emotions. Taking your time in intimacy is not merely about extending the duration of the physical act, it is about creating an environment where true connection can flourish. It's about building anticipation, cultivating a sense of safety and trust, and allowing both partners to fully immerse themselves in the experience. When you approach intimacy with patience, you grant both yourself and your partner the space to explore, to communicate, and to truly be present with one another. This presence is essential because intimacy is as much about emotional and mental engagement as it is about physical pleasure. Rushing through intimacy often leads to a disconnect, where the focus shifts from mutual enjoyment to the pursuit of an endpoint. This approach not only diminishes the experience, but also risks overlooking the subtle cues and signals that your partner may be giving. Women, in particular, may express their needs and desires in ways that require careful attention and sensitivity. The Stoics, who advocated for a calm and thoughtful approach to life, would likely advise against any form of haste in intimate matters. Instead, they would encourage you to slow down, to attune yourself to your partner's rhythms, and to embrace the journey rather than fixating on the destination. Taking your time also serves a deeper psychological purpose. Women's pleasure is intricately tied to their emotional state. If a woman feels rushed, pressured, or undervalued, it is unlikely that she will be able to fully engage in the experience. On the contrary, when a woman feels that her partner is genuinely interested in her pleasure, willing to take the time to explore her needs and respond to her desires, she is far more likely to relax, let go of any inhibitions, and open herself to the experience. This state of relaxation is crucial for achieving not just physical pleasure, but also a deeper emotional connection. Furthermore, when you take your time, you allow for a more thorough exploration of her body. Intimacy is not limited to the obvious erogenous zones. Every woman's body is unique, with its own set of sensitive areas that respond to touch in different ways. By taking the time to discover these areas, you demonstrate a genuine interest in her pleasure that goes beyond the superficial. This exploration can be incredibly rewarding, both physically and emotionally, as it shows her that you are not simply going through the motions, but are fully engaged in the process of making her feel good. The act of slowing down also creates an opportunity for both partners to communicate more effectively. In the heat of the moment, it can be easy to overlook or misinterpret what your partner is trying to convey. However, when you approach intimacy with patience and care, you give yourselves the space to communicate openly and honestly about what feels good, what doesn't, and what you both need to feel satisfied. This kind of communication is essential for building trust and deepening your connection, and it can transform your intimate encounters from mere physical acts into deeply meaningful experiences. The Stoics believed that the best way to approach any situation was with a calm and composed mind. In intimacy, this means setting aside your ego, your insecurities, and your preconceptions about what should happen, and instead focusing entirely on the present moment and your partner's experience. By taking your time, you allow yourself to be fully present, to listen to your partner's needs, and to respond in a way that is thoughtful and considerate. This mindfulness not only enhances the physical experience, but also creates a sense of emotional closeness that is often lacking in hurried or transactional encounters. In addition, taking your time allows you to savor the experience in a way that is impossible when you are rushing. Every touch, every kiss, every moment of connection becomes more meaningful when you are not preoccupied with reaching a particular outcome. This approach aligns with the Stoic principle of living in accordance with nature, of being fully engaged with life as it unfolds, rather than constantly striving for more or better. When you slow down and take your time, you are able to appreciate the beauty and complexity of your partner's body and the intimacy you share, which in turn deepens your sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. Finally, it's important to recognize that taking your time is not just about prolonging the physical act of sex. It's about creating a space where both partners feel valued, respected, and cared for. It's about acknowledging that true intimacy is not something that can be achieved through speed or efficiency, but through patience, understanding, and a willingness to be vulnerable with one another. By embracing the Stoic principle of patience in your intimate life, you are not only enhancing your partner's pleasure, but also cultivating a relationship that is built on trust, respect, and genuine connection. In conclusion, taking your time is one of the most important things you can do to ensure that your partner experiences true pleasure. This principle, deeply rooted in Stoic wisdom, will serve you well in all aspects of your relationship. Intimacy is not a race, it is a journey, and the slower you go, the more rewarding the destination will be. By slowing down, being present, and focusing on your partner's experience, you can transform your intimate moments into profound acts of connection that resonate far beyond the physical. This is the essence of true intimacy, understanding that every moment, every touch, every word has the power to deepen your relationship and bring you closer together. Chapter 2. Pay attention to her needs. In the teachings of the Stoics, attention is a cornerstone of wisdom. They believed that to live a meaningful life, one must pay close attention to the world around them, to the actions and feelings of others, and to the subtle nuances that often go unnoticed by the unobservant. This principle applies directly to the realm of intimacy, where a man's ability to pay attention to his partner's needs can be the difference between a fleeting encounter and a deeply satisfying experience. Paying attention to her needs means more than just being physically present. It requires a deep and genuine interest in understanding what she desires, what she enjoys, and what makes her feel safe and valued. This attention begins long before you enter the bedroom. It starts with noticing the small things, how she reacts to different situations, what makes her smile, what makes her feel appreciated. These observations allow you to tailor your approach to intimacy in a way that feels personal and thoughtful, rather than generic or routine. In the context of intimacy, paying attention to her needs involves tuning into her verbal and nonverbal cues. Every woman is different, and what works for one may not work for another. By listening to her words, her breath, her moans, and even the way her body moves, you can begin to understand what she enjoys and what she doesn't. This attentiveness is not just about avoiding mistakes, it's about creating an experience that is truly tailored to her desires. The Stoics taught that wisdom comes from understanding others, and in intimacy, This wisdom manifests as the ability to meet your partner's needs in a way that makes her feel seen, heard, and cherished. Moreover, paying attention to her needs means being adaptable. A woman's desires can change from moment to moment, and what she enjoyed yesterday may not be what she craves today. Being attentive means being flexible and willing to adjust your approach based on her current mood, energy levels, and emotional state. This adaptability is crucial because it shows her that you are not just going through the motions, but are genuinely engaged in the process of making her feel good. The Stoics believed in the importance of living in the present moment, and this is particularly relevant in intimacy. Paying attention to her needs requires you to be fully present, to set aside distractions, and to focus entirely on the experience at hand. This presence allows you to notice the little things that can make a big difference in her pleasure, whether it's the way she responds to a certain touch, the way her body tenses or relaxes, or the look in her eyes when she feels truly connected to you. By being present, you can respond to her needs in real time, adjusting your approach to maximize her pleasure and deepen your connection. In addition to physical cues, paying attention to her needs also involves understanding her emotional and psychological state. Women's pleasure is deeply connected to their emotions, and if she feels stressed, anxious, or disconnected, it's unlikely that she will be able to fully enjoy the experience. By paying attention to her needs, you can create an environment where she feels emotionally safe and supported. This might involve talking through any concerns she has, offering reassurance, or simply being there to listen. The Stoics valued empathy and compassion, and these qualities are essential for creating a space where your partner feels comfortable enough to fully let go and immerse herself in the experience. Another aspect of paying attention to her needs is recognizing the importance of aftercare. The moments following intimacy are just as important as the act itself. Paying attention to her needs means being attuned to what she requires in these moments, whether it's cuddling, talking, or simply being left alone to rest. By addressing her needs after intimacy, you demonstrate that your care and attention extend beyond the physical act, reinforcing the emotional connection and making her feel valued as a whole person. The Stoics believed that love and intimacy were about giving rather than taking, about focusing on the needs of others rather than solely on one's own desires. In intimacy, paying attention to her needs is the embodiment of this philosophy. It's about prioritizing her pleasure, her comfort, and her emotional well-being over your own ego or desires. This selflessness not only enhances her experience, but also strengthens the bond between you, creating a relationship that is based on mutual respect, trust, and deep affection. In conclusion, paying attention to her needs is not just a technique for enhancing physical pleasure, it's a way of living the Stoic principles of wisdom, empathy, and compassion in your intimate life. By being present, adaptable, and genuinely interested in understanding your partner's desires, you can create an experience that is both physically satisfying and emotionally fulfilling. This level of attentiveness transforms intimacy from a mere physical act into a profound expression of love and connection, deepening your relationship and bringing you closer together in a way that resonates on a much deeper level. Chapter 3: Map Her Body. The Stoics believed that knowledge was the key to understanding the world and navigating life's challenges. In the realm of intimacy, this philosophy can be applied to the concept of mapping her body. Just as a philosopher seeks to understand the complexities of the universe, a man who truly wishes to please his partner must seek to understand the intricacies of her body, its unique sensitivities, its rhythms, and the ways in which it responds to touch. Mapping her body is about more than just physical exploration, it's about gaining a deep, intuitive understanding of what makes her feel good. Every woman's body is different, and what works for one may not work for another. Therefore, the process of mapping her body requires patience, curiosity, and a willingness to explore without preconceived notions. The Stoics taught that one must approach life with an open mind, free from judgment or assumption, and this same approach is vital when exploring your partner's body. When mapping her body, it's important to approach the experience as a journey rather than a destination. The goal is not to rush through to find the right spots, but to take your time and enjoy the process of discovery. Begin with light touches, starting in non-obvious areas like her back, arms, and legs. Pay close attention to how her body responds. Does she tense up, relax, or perhaps shiver with pleasure? These reactions are clues that guide you in understanding what she enjoys and what she might prefer you to avoid. As you continue to explore, move to more sensitive areas, such as her neck, inner thighs, and lower back. Again, let her reactions guide you. This is where your attentiveness and presence come into play, as mentioned in the previous chapter. Every woman has unique erogenous zones, places on her body that are particularly responsive to touch. These may include the nape of her neck, the small of her back, or even the back of her knees. By taking the time to map these areas, you demonstrate that you are not just interested in the obvious or the routine, but that you are genuinely invested in her pleasure. The Stoics would remind you that mapping her body is not just about physical exploration, it's also about emotional connection. As you touch her, pay attention to the energy between you. Does she lean into your touch, or does she pull away? Is she relaxed and open, or does she seem guarded? These nonverbal cues are just as important as the physical ones, as they provide insight into her emotional state and how she's feeling in the moment. A Stoic would advise you to be mindful of these cues and to adjust your approach accordingly, ensuring that your touch is always welcome and desired. In addition to physical touch, consider how different types of stimulation might enhance her pleasure. For example, some women enjoy the sensation of breath on their skin, while others might respond to light scratching or the application of different textures, such as silk or feathers. This is all part of the process of mapping her body, understanding how different sensations affect her, and using this knowledge to create a more pleasurable and varied experience. It's also important to remember that mapping her body is an ongoing process. A woman's preferences can change over time, influenced by factors such as mood, stress levels, and even the dynamics of your relationship. Therefore, what she enjoyed last week may not be what she desires today. The Stoics taught that life is in a constant state of flux, and this principle applies to intimacy as well. By continually revisiting the process of mapping her body, you ensure that your understanding of her needs remains current and that your approach to intimacy evolves along with your relationship. Another key aspect of mapping her body is communication. While much can be learned through observation and touch, direct communication is essential for truly understanding what she enjoys. Encourage her to express what feels good, what doesn't, and what she'd like more of. This dialogue not only enhances her pleasure, but also builds trust and deepens the emotional connection between you. The Stoics valued honest and open communication as a foundation for strong relationships, and this principle is just as important in the bedroom as it is in other aspects of life. Moreover, mapping her body is not just about the physical act of sex, it's about exploring her entire body with curiosity and care. This includes areas that are often overlooked, such as her scalp, her hands, and her feet. These areas can be incredibly sensitive and responsive to touch, and exploring them can add a new dimension to your intimacy. By taking the time to map her body thoroughly, you demonstrate that you are invested in her pleasure in a holistic way, not just focused on the obvious or the routine. In conclusion, mapping her body is a crucial aspect of creating a deeply satisfying and meaningful intimate experience. By approaching this process with the curiosity of a philosopher and the attentiveness of a Stoic, you can gain a profound understanding of what makes her feel good. This knowledge not only enhances her pleasure, but also deepens the emotional connection between you, transforming your intimate moments into something truly special. Remember, Chapter 4. Allow her to indicate when she is ready to receive. The Stoics often spoke of the importance of timing, of understanding when the moment is right for action and when it is better to wait. This wisdom is particularly relevant when it comes to intimacy, where allowing your partner to indicate when she is ready to receive is a fundamental aspect of creating a fulfilling experience. Patience, respect, and attentiveness are key elements in this process, and they all contribute to a deeper connection and a more pleasurable experience for both partners. Allowing her to indicate when she is ready to receive means giving her the space and time she needs to fully prepare herself, both physically and emotionally, for intimacy. Every woman's body and mind work at their own pace, and it's crucial to honor that pace rather than imposing your own expectations. The Stoics taught that wisdom involves recognizing the natural flow of life and adapting to it rather than trying to force it to bend to your will. In intimacy, this means being patient and attuned to your partner's signals, understanding that rushing her or pushing her before she is ready can create discomfort or even pain, rather than pleasure. One of the first steps in allowing her to indicate when she is ready is creating an environment where she feels safe and respected. This involves clear communication, both verbal and non-verbal, where you reassure her that she is in control of the pace and that her comfort is your priority. The Stoics believed that true power comes from self-control and the ability to create a harmonious environment. In the context of intimacy, this means exercising restraint and sensitivity, ensuring that she feels empowered to guide the experience according to her needs and desires. It's important to recognize that readiness is not just about physical arousal, but also about emotional and psychological preparedness. Women's pleasure is deeply connected to their state of mind, and if she is feeling stressed, anxious, or unsure, it's unlikely that she will be able to fully engage in the experience. Allowing her to indicate when she is ready involves paying attention to her emotional cues, her tone of voice, her body language, and even her energy levels. These indicators can tell you a lot about whether she is truly ready to proceed or whether she needs more time to relax and feel comfortable. The Stoics placed great value on the concept of consent, not just in the literal sense of agreeing to something, but in the deeper sense of enthusiastic participation. In intimacy, this means that she should not only agree to the physical act, but should be eager and willing to engage in it. Consent should be seen as an ongoing process rather than a one-time check. By allowing her to indicate when she is ready, you ensure that her participation is genuine and enthusiastic, which greatly enhances the pleasure and connection between you. Another important aspect of allowing her to indicate when she is ready is being attuned to her nonverbal communication. Often, women may feel hesitant to verbalize their needs or discomforts, especially if they are unsure of how their partner will react. This is where your attentiveness becomes crucial. The Stoics taught that much of life's wisdom comes from what is unsaid, from the subtle cues and signs that require careful observation to understand. In intimacy, this means watching for signs that she is not yet ready, perhaps a slight withdrawal, a tensing of her muscles, or a lack of enthusiasm in her responses. These signals should prompt you to slow down, check in with her, and ensure that she feels fully comfortable before proceeding. Timing is everything, and in the context of intimacy, rushing can lead to a disconnect that diminishes the experience for both partners. By allowing her to indicate when she is ready, you are demonstrating that you value her comfort and pleasure above all else. This not only deepens the trust between you, but also creates a sense of anticipation that can make the experience even more enjoyable. The Stoics would remind you that patience is not just about waiting, but about waiting with purpose, about understanding that the best things come to those who are willing to allow them to unfold naturally. Furthermore, allowing her to indicate when she is ready fosters a sense of mutual respect and equality in your relationship. It shows that you see her as an active participant in the experience, rather than just a passive recipient. This respect is crucial for building a strong emotional bond and ensuring that both partners feel valued and appreciated. The Stoics believed that respect for others was a cornerstone of a virtuous life, and this principle applies just as much to intimate relationships as it does to other aspects of life. It's also important to note that readiness can vary from moment to moment, and what feels right at one point in time may not feel right later on. By maintaining an open line of communication and being sensitive to her signals, you can ensure that the experience remains positive and enjoyable throughout. The Stoics taught that life is full of change and their wisdom lies in our ability to adapt to these changes with grace and understanding. In intimacy, this means being flexible and responsive to your partner's needs, ensuring that she feels supported and cared for at every stage of the experience. In conclusion, allowing her to indicate when she is ready to receive is a key aspect of creating a fulfilling and respectful intimate experience. It's a practice rooted in the Stoic principles of patience, respect, and attentiveness. By giving her the space and time she needs, and by being attuned to her signals, you can ensure that she feels fully comfortable and engaged, which greatly enhances the pleasure and connection between you. This approach not only honors her needs, but also deepens the emotional bond between you, creating a relationship that is built on mutual trust, respect, and understanding. Chapter 5. Focus on the clitoris. The Stoics believed in the power of knowledge and understanding, emphasizing the importance of focusing on what truly matters in life. In the context of intimacy, focusing on the clitoris is one of the most crucial aspects of ensuring a woman's pleasure. The clitoris, often referred to as the pleasure center, is a small but incredibly powerful part of a woman's anatomy, and giving it the attention it deserves can transform the intimate experience for both partners. Focusing on the clitoris requires a deep understanding of its significance in female pleasure. Unlike other parts of the body, the clitoris is solely dedicated to pleasure, with thousands of nerve endings concentrated in a tiny area. This makes it incredibly sensitive and responsive to touch, but it also requires a gentle and thoughtful approach. The Stoics taught that wisdom comes from understanding the essence of things, and in intimacy, this means recognizing that the clitoris is not just another erogenous zone, but the key to unlocking a woman's full potential for pleasure. One of the first things to understand about focusing on the clitoris is that it's not just about direct stimulation. While direct touch can be highly pleasurable, it can also be overwhelming if not done with care. The Stoics believed in moderation and balance, and this principle applies perfectly here. Start with light, indirect touches, using your fingers, lips, or even breath to stimulate the area around the clitoris before moving to more direct contact. This gradual build-up not only heightens her arousal, but also ensures that the sensation remains pleasurable rather than overstimulating. Another important aspect of focusing on the clitoris is understanding that every woman is different. What works for one may not work for another, and the only way to truly understand what she enjoys is through attentive exploration and communication. The Stoics taught that true wisdom comes from adapting to the realities of the moment rather than imposing preconceived notions. In intimacy, this means being open to her feedback and willing to adjust your approach based on her responses. Encourage her to guide you, to show you what feels good, and to communicate her needs openly. This not only enhances her pleasure, but also builds trust and deepens your connection. It's also important to recognize that focusing on the clitoris doesn't have to be limited to the physical act of sex. Foreplay, which often includes clitoral stimulation, is a vital part of the experience and can greatly enhance the overall pleasure. The Stoics believed in the importance of preparation, of setting the stage for success in any endeavor. In intimacy, foreplay serves this purpose, allowing her to become fully aroused and ready for the next stage of the experience. By focusing on the clitoris during foreplay, you create a foundation of pleasure that can carry through the entire encounter. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of presence and mindfulness, of being fully engaged in the moment. When focusing on the clitoris, it's crucial to be present and attentive, to tune into her reactions and adjust your approach accordingly. This requires setting aside distractions and being fully committed to the experience. The more present you are, the more you'll be able to pick up on the subtle cues that indicate whether she's enjoying the stimulation or whether you need to change your approach. This level of attentiveness not only enhances her pleasure, but also deepens the emotional connection between you. In addition to manual stimulation, there are other ways to focus on the clitoris that can add variety and excitement to the experience. Oral sex, for example, is often one of the most effective ways to stimulate the clitoris, allowing for a combination of direct and indirect stimulation that can be incredibly pleasurable. The Stoics believed in the importance of variety and adaptability, and incorporating different techniques into your intimate repertoire can keep the experience fresh and exciting. The key is to remain attentive to her responses and to be willing to experiment with different approaches until you find what works best for her. It's also worth noting that focusing on the clitoris is not just about the physical act itself, but about creating an environment where she feels comfortable and confident enough to fully enjoy the experience. This involves building trust, communicating openly, and ensuring that she feels respected and valued. The Stoics taught that the foundation of any meaningful relationship is mutual respect and understanding, and this principle is just as important in intimacy as it is in other aspects of life. Chapter 6. Don't forget the G-spot. The Stoics emphasized the importance of recognizing the complexities and nuances of life. When it comes to female pleasure, one of these nuances is the G-spot, a highly sensitive area within the vagina that, when stimulated correctly, can lead to intense pleasure and powerful orgasms. Understanding and not neglecting this often overlooked aspect of female anatomy can greatly enhance the intimate experience for both partners, deepening your connection and mutual satisfaction. The G-spot is located on the upper wall of the vagina, a few inches inside, and is often described as having a slightly rougher texture compared to the surrounding area. It's not as easy to find as the clitoris, which is more accessible and straightforward to stimulate, but with patience and attentiveness, you can discover its location and unlock its potential. The Stoics would remind us that true understanding comes from careful observation and practice. In the context of intimacy, this means taking the time to explore her body with the goal of discovering what brings her the most pleasure. When it comes to stimulating the G-spot, the approach should be gentle and gradual. The Stoics believed in moderation and the avoidance of extremes, which is a wise approach here. Begin with slow, shallow movements and gradually increase the intensity as she becomes more aroused. The key is to listen to her body, pay attention to her breathing, her movements, and any verbal feedback she gives. These cues will guide you in adjusting your technique to provide the most pleasure. One of the best positions for G-spot stimulation is when she is lying on her back with her legs slightly bent. This position allows for deeper penetration and easier access to the G-spot. However, every woman is different, and experimenting with different angles and positions can help you find what works best for her. The Stoics would encourage you to be adaptable and open-minded, recognizing that what works in one situation may not work in another. This flexibility is key to ensuring that the experience is both enjoyable and fulfilling. It's important to note that the G-spot responds differently at different times. Sometimes it might be highly sensitive and easily stimulated, while at other times, it may require more effort or a different approach. The Stoics taught that wisdom lies in understanding the ebb and flow of life's experiences and adapting to them accordingly. In intimacy, this means being patient and not getting discouraged if you don't achieve the desired result right away. The journey of exploration and discovery is part of the experience, and with persistence and care, you can learn to stimulate the G-spot effectively. Combining G-spot stimulation with clitoral stimulation can often lead to what is known as a blended orgasm, which many women describe as an incredibly intense and satisfying experience. The Stoics believed in the importance of harmony and balance, and this concept applies here as well. By balancing the stimulation of both the clitoris and the G-spot, you can create a symphony of sensations that enhances her pleasure and deepens the connection between you. The key is to be attuned to her responses, adjusting your technique as needed to maintain that balance. Communication is essential when exploring the G-spot, just as it is in all aspects of intimacy. Encourage her to guide you, to tell you what feels good and what doesn't. The Stoics valued open dialogue and the sharing of wisdom, understanding that knowledge is best when it's shared and applied. In the same way, her feedback is invaluable in ensuring that you are providing her with the most pleasure possible. This open communication not only enhances the physical experience, but also builds trust and intimacy between you. Another aspect of G-spot stimulation to consider is that it can sometimes lead to female ejaculation, also known as squirting. This is a natural and normal response for some women, though not all women will experience it. The Stoics taught that we should accept life's events without judgment, and this applies here as well. If your partner does experience female ejaculation, embrace it as part of the experience rather than something to be concerned about. It's a sign that she is fully engaged and responsive to your touch, which is a positive outcome. It's also important to recognize that not all women will find G-spot stimulation pleasurable, and that's perfectly okay. The Stoics believed in the uniqueness of individuals and the importance of accepting people as they are. In intimacy, this means respecting your partner's preferences and boundaries. If she doesn't enjoy G-spot stimulation, there are plenty of other ways to ensure her pleasure. The key is to be responsive to her needs and willing to adapt your approach based on her feedback. In conclusion, not forgetting that G-spot is an important aspect of creating a fulfilling and pleasurable intimate experience. By understanding its significance, being patient and attentive, and communicating openly with your partner, you can enhance the experience for both of you. This approach, rooted in the Stoic principles of moderation, adaptability, and respect, ensures that your intimate encounters are both satisfying and meaningful. Chapter 7. Keep the momentum going. The Stoics often spoke of the importance of momentum in life, of maintaining a steady course and continuing to move forward, even when faced with challenges. This concept applies equally well to intimacy, where keeping the momentum going is essential for sustaining pleasure and deepening the connection between partners. Once you've built up arousal and excitement, it's crucial to maintain that energy and keep the experience flowing smoothly, avoiding interruptions or distractions that could diminish the intensity of the moment. Keeping the momentum going in intimacy involves both physical and mental aspects. Physically, it means maintaining a steady rhythm, adjusting your movements and techniques to ensure that her pleasure continues to build. The Stoics believed in the importance of consistency and perseverance, and these qualities are key to maintaining momentum during intimacy. Avoid sudden changes in pace or intensity that could disrupt the flow of the experience. Instead, focus on creating a seamless progression from one stage of arousal to the next, keeping her fully engaged and responsive. Mentally, keeping the momentum going involves staying present and focused on the moment. The Stoics taught the importance of mindfulness and being fully engaged in whatever you are doing. In intimacy, this means avoiding distractions and staying attuned to your partner's needs and responses. If you allow your mind to wander or become distracted by external factors, you risk losing the connection you've built and diminishing the intensity of the experience. Stay focused on her, on the sensations you are both experiencing, and on the shared journey you are on together. Communication is also a key component of maintaining momentum. The Stoics valued clear and open communication, understanding that it is the foundation of all meaningful relationships. During intimacy, this means checking in with your partner, ensuring that she is comfortable and enjoying the experience. It also means being responsive to her feedback, adjusting your approach as needed to maintain her pleasure. This ongoing dialogue helps to sustain the momentum, ensuring that the experience continues to be pleasurable and fulfilling for both of you. Another important aspect of keeping the momentum going is recognizing the natural ebb and flow of arousal. The Stoics taught that life is full of ups and downs, and this is true in intimacy as well. Arousal may build to a peak and then dip slightly before building again. The key is to ride these waves, maintaining a steady course and not allowing small dips in intensity to disrupt the overall flow of the experience. Be patient and persistent, understanding that momentum is not about maintaining a constant high, but about sustaining a smooth and enjoyable progression. Physical techniques can also play a role in keeping the momentum going. For example, alternating between different types of stimulation, such as oral, manual, and penetrative, can keep the experience fresh and exciting. The Stoics believed in the value of variety and adaptability, and incorporating different techniques into your intimate repertoire can help maintain momentum and prevent the experience from becoming monotonous. The key is to be attuned to your partner's responses, switching techniques as needed to keep her fully engaged and aroused. It's also important to be aware of potential interruptions or distractions that could disrupt the momentum. This could be anything from an unexpected noise to a shift in position that breaks the flow of the experience. The Stoics taught the importance of being prepared for the unexpected and remaining calm and focused in the face of challenges. In intimacy, this means being aware of potential disruptions and addressing them quickly and calmly so that you can return to the moment without losing the connection you've built. Keeping the momentum going also involves managing your own arousal and energy levels. The Stoics believed in the importance of self-control and moderation, understanding that excess in any form can lead to imbalance. In intimacy, this means pacing yourself and ensuring that you don't become overly excited too quickly, which could lead to a premature end to the experience. By managing your own arousal and staying in tune with your partner, you can maintain a steady momentum that allows both of you to fully enjoy the experience. Finally, keeping the momentum going is about maintaining a positive and supportive atmosphere. The Stoics believed in the power of encouragement and the importance of creating a positive environment for growth and connection. In intimacy, this means being supportive and encouraging of your partner, reinforcing her pleasure and helping her to feel confident and comfortable. This positive reinforcement helps to sustain the momentum and ensures that the experience is both pleasurable and emotionally fulfilling for both of you. In conclusion, keeping the momentum going is essential for creating a satisfying and meaningful intimate experience. By maintaining a steady rhythm, staying focused and present, communicating openly, and managing your own energy levels, you can ensure that the experience flows smoothly and remains pleasurable from start to finish. This approach, grounded in the Stoic principles of perseverance, mindfulness, and self-control, ensures that your intimate encounters are not only physically satisfying but also emotionally enriching and deeply connected. The Stoics, with their profound understanding of human nature and the complexities of life, offer timeless wisdom that can be applied to every aspect of our lives, including intimacy. Their teachings on patience, mindfulness, communication, and self-control serve as valuable guides for those seeking to deepen their connection with their partner and enhance the experience of pleasure. Throughout this episode, we've explored how these principles can be used to create a more fulfilling and meaningful intimate relationship. By taking your time, paying attention to her needs, mapping her body, allowing her to indicate when she is ready, focusing on the clitoris, exploring tantric sex, inviting her to participate, understanding the importance of the G-spot, and keeping the momentum going, you not only enhance her pleasure but also strengthen the emotional bond between you. Intimacy is more than just a physical act, it's a journey that requires care, attention, and a deep understanding of your partner's needs and desires. The Stoics understood that the key to a fulfilling life lies in our ability to connect with others on a deeper level, and this is especially true in our most intimate relationships. By applying their wisdom to the realm of intimacy, you can create experiences that are not only pleasurable, but also deeply connected and meaningful. As you continue on your own journey of understanding and mastering the psychology of women, remember that the path to true connection is one of patience, openness, and mutual respect. The more you embrace these principles, the more rewarding your intimate experiences will become, not just for her, but for both of you. Thank you for watching this episode. If you found the insights shared here valuable, be sure to watch until the end, like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts or stories. Your experiences and feedback are important to us, and we look forward to hearing from you. Share this video with others who might benefit from these insights, and stay tuned for more episodes that dive into the fascinating world of female psychology and Stoic wisdom.